Rick and Morty.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Greg After Dark. See, this is me after dark. Hey guys, it's a little dark in here. Could we turn on at least one light? Guys? Is there anyone there? Hello, I'm Greg Rutke Mods, and welcome to episode 1 of the PowerPC series. Where'd that come from? Anyway, so what was that? Anyway, like I said, in this series we'll be showing you many different things about PowerPC Macs in general. This will apply to any Mac in general that's PowerPC, more or less. Any Mac between the G3 and the G4 and the G5. Now, these Macs aren't dead at all. They're still very alive! Oh, the speakers are still on. Anyway, and when I say they're still very alive, I mean you can still use these computers for everyday tasks, considering which version you have. A lot of G3s, basically all of them, aren't very useful for modern day things, other than a few things I will show you. But like for web browsing and stuff, it's better left off now. But we'll cover all this. We'll show you all these things that these computers are still going to be able to do, and I'll tell you what, it's very impressive the kind of power these systems still have. So anyway, let's begin, and I'll show you the systems I have right here and go over a quick everything about them. And in later videos I'll be introducing each one by one and explaining to you where they came from, what they're doing now, and what we're going to do with them. Anyway, so let's get started. And here they are. This is what I like to call the Tower of Power PC. Anyway, before we continue talking about these Macs right here in front of us, I'd like to tell you a quick story about the first two new ROM PowerPCs I ever had, and basically the first Macs I ever had, modern day Macs, you could say, and why they aren't here. First off, I do sort of have one of them here, at least a part of it. Let's come over here and I'll show you. This is a frame for an iMac G4. I believe this is a 17-inch. Don't worry about that, it's broken. There's no clips on it. I'm actually turning that into a picture frame. Anyway, talking about my first Macs, I still have my other iMac G4, but the first one I had doesn't really exist anymore except for a few parts of it. The first G4 I ever had was a 1.25 gigahertz I got in early 2014, I believe. That was the last model that was ever made. It was the most powerful one, and it had USB 2.0 in it. Looking back now, I'm kind of regretting doing what I did to it, because it probably was rebuildable, but at the time I just wanted it for what I did with it. As you can see in this picture right here. As you can see, it became a lamp. And the first version wasn't that great. In fact, it kept falling apart, falling over, and it had this bad habit of electrocuting people. But it was a great idea at the time. Anyway, that Mac wasn't salvageable, in my opinion, at the time. And it had a lot of broken parts. The LCD was busted. It wasn't a good system. And it wasn't usable. Well, The next year, I got another iMac G4 for an art project where I decided to rebuild that lamp. And as you can see in these pictures, that's what it looked like when the lamp was completely finished. And in fact, that lamp is still in my bedroom as my bedroom lamp. And all the ports on the bottom are functional, at least the FireWire and USB. Those are actually chargers. You can charge old FireWire iPods with it, and you can charge iPads with it. So any USB device that needs a charger, it can work with. Pretty neat. Now, out of the parts between those two Macs, I managed to make a headless iMac G4, which, as you can see in this picture right here, worked quite well. I still have the G4. It doesn't happen to be here. It will probably eventually be in the series, but right now it's sitting at my dad's house. But that was what got me into Macs. Once I finished building that system up and making it run, I started really getting interested in Macs. The first Mac I had ever used was basically the first PC I ever used when I was just a few months old, probably. And it was a very, very good computer. When I say that, it was my dad's Mac. It was a Macintosh Plus from 1986. And I, of course, started using it probably in 92-ish. So, yeah, there's a long story behind that. I still have that Mac. It's not here. It's in pieces. It ended up getting kind of damaged when I was young. But anyway, getting back to everything. This series, of course, will be focusing on G3 through G5 PowerPC Macs. And this will also include the old ROM G3s. Most old ROM G3s will still be able to do everything that we're going to be talking about here. Now, those Macs, of course, will take a few more modifications. I don't have any of those. But still, all G3 Macs, even although it may take some hacking, should be able to run Tiger, and all G4 Macs should be able to run Leopard. Of course, with some hacking also, if it's a slower system. But anyway, so I'll introduce you to these Macs real quick, and then we'll wrap up the video, and we'll start getting the ball rolling on the series. So let's start. First off, we'll look at my iBooks here. This is an iBook G4 800 megahertz. It's a late 2003 model. This was the slowest iBook G4 ever made. It can't natively run Leopard, but it will run Leopard, and I'll show you how to install Leopard on any G4 Mac like this. And then right here we have my iBook G3 Snow, aka also known as the 2 USB port model. This was an early 2003 model. This is an 800 megahertz. And I'm actually going to be doing an episode comparing the G4 and G3. These both have 640 megabytes worth of RAM, and they're both 800 megahertz. They both have 80 gigabyte hard drives. They've been upgraded. So that will be an interesting video. Right here in the center we have my Mac Mini G4. It's a 1.42 gigahertz model. Then over here we have my probably favorite PowerPC. This is my PowerPC G4, Power Mac G4 Quicksilver. This is a early 2002 model. It's a dual 1 gigahertz model. It's been upgraded with a Power Mac G5 Rad-On 9600 with the proper mods and stuff. I'll show you how to do that in an episode. Right above it is a late 2002 PowerBook G4 Titanium. It's an 867 megahertz model. pretty cool. Then we have my two PowerMac G5s. These are late 2005 models. They're both 2.0 gigahertz dual cores. This one right here is the one that will be in the series. It's completely built up with a 7800 GT in it and a bunch of other neat little goodies in it. And a 2 terabyte hard drive, which is a little overkill for the system, but it will allow me to do anything I need to. And then this one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this system. I actually bought this from a person on Facebook. He claimed that this was a quad core, and me being an idiot, I paid for it. It was a great price. I paid for it, and I brought it home before actually checking to see if it was a quad core. And let that be a lesson to you children. Check before you bring it home or even buy it. That was really stupid of me. And as we can see, it's missing a few parts, but it's running. And right now I have it upgraded to 8 gigs of RAM. And we'll see what I do with it. I have a really neat idea, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that's all the Macs I have here that will be in the series. And I'm still looking for other PowerPC Macs. I'm looking for an iMac G3 maybe. I don't think I want an eMac, but we'll see about that. And I'll also be looking for a few others. I'm also looking for another PowerBook G4, probably the 1.67 gigahertz. All those will be in the series. And in the next video, I'll be showing you one of these systems right here and telling you the backstory of it and what's in it. And we'll start off by showing each one separately. The iBooks might be together, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed this series coming up. Thank you for watching, and this has been a Rutkin Mods video. Hello, and welcome to the... Ow, it's hot.